So finally here we are with our flip preaching video. It's taken a little while to get to this place, some technical hitches, some other bits and pieces. I'm going to start off just recapping this direction theme. So discernment, trying to work out that which God is calling us to do. It's something we don't really talk about much, but it's an important spiritual practice, something that in one sense the church is poorer for. We are poorer for as individuals when we lose sight of it in our life. And so over the 3 weeks that have gone before and as we just move forward into the next couple of weeks, we're going to be looking at what discernment looks like and practicing it. There'll be a booklet coming out. It's just being finished off, which just guides us in some ways that we can practice discerning each and every day. Some very simple things that we can do. Some of them we've been trying in our Zoom groups, the Lectio Divina stuff, but there's some other bits and pieces that over many centuries the church has used as a tool in order to help us discern that which God is doing. Today, though, we're going to be looking at a story from Acts. It's the story where the disciples choose the 7 who will wait on tables, as it were. The situation is that the number of believers is growing and the disciples can't do everything. They can't preach and teach and do the ministry that they've been called to and serve the food for the widows and the orphans that are coming and are in need. And so they do this thing, and it happens a number of times in Acts where they need to make a decision. You know, the disciples are quite good at working out what it is and who it is that they need. So in these verses that we have, you'll notice these 3 things in a way that they discern what is right. So they recognize the problem. You know, they go, we can't do this, we need some others to do this. So that's the first part of discernment, is sometimes working out what is the problem, what is the issue at hand that needs to be solved, what is the question that we are trying to answer. In this case, the question is, who can serve the widows and the orphans, because we need a group of people to do that. So they've had this issue that's arisen, they've worked out what it is they need. So they say to the people, bring to us some names, bring to us some people that you believe are the right people to do this job. And we get the 7, and we know some of them, like Philip, and we know Stephen. The other names are less well known to us, but they're all listed there, these people that are brought forward from the group. So this is the second phase of discernment, is the apostles have worked out the question, they've worked out what's wrong, and then they go and ask the people and say, right, you go, you know the people, and you know those people that have the right gifts and the right skills in order to do this job. And so those people are brought to them. And the final thing that happens is that these people are trusted. The apostles pray for them, they ordain them to this task, as it were, and then they let them go and get on with it. This final bit may seem a little bit like, well, they've just ticked the box then, haven't they? They've got the right amount of people and they've just let them go. But what these disciples do is that they pray that God's Spirit would be with them, that they would be the right people for this job. And then they go, right, go and do the job. If God has called you to this, then he will guide you in this. And there's a lesson there for us sometimes in discernment, because of those 7, we only really know what happened to 2 of them, Philip and Stephen. The rest of them kind of, as in other places, disappear into the background. But we know with at least 2, Philip and Stephen, that actually they did some amazing things. Stephen's martyrdom and Philip and the Ethiopian are big stories that follow in the next chapters. These people, yes, they waited on table, but they also preached the good news, and they always brought it to people that would not have heard it. Stephen's death was because he was willing to speak out for his faith. And sometimes when we are discerning a way, once we've worked out the problem, when we've sought to find the solution to it, whether it's a number of people or a certain way of doing something, sometimes we just have to let it go and say, God, if this is right, we will see your hand at work in it. And they did in the lives of Philip and Stephen. And it may be that the other 5 did amazing things that we just haven't heard about. But it's great to see this process of discernment taking place in a very real and a very live issue for them. So for us, we will look at these verses again on Thursday, a little bit more detail. But, what are the problems, the issues that you're facing? And how may you use some of these things just to help you discern Have you worked out what the problem, the question is? And then have you sought to work out who or what might be the answer to that? And then maybe it's just a case of going, right, God, I'm going to do this and trust that it is right. And maybe if it goes terribly wrong, we get to learn a lesson there about what we sense and feel about what God is saying. And if it goes great and God is definitely in that situation, then we can say, well, actually, we know a little bit more as well about what it is when God speaks to us. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's made it to your inbox well and okay. And I look forward to doing some more over the coming weeks that will help us in this process of seeking God's direction. Take care for now. Bye.